You can actually lose now. You only get one try per map or boss or encounter before you're locked
Stakes.
out. If
Stakes.
you die in a map, it turns red and you cannot go in there again. I think this is going to be very, very good for the health of the game in softcore. I know a lot of people in softcore like the game to be like a sandbox, and that's fine, but I really don't think that's what PoE 2 is going for. It's definitely the case in PoE 1 where it's like this big sandbox game. Your goals are basically you make them up in your head, right? You're not really aiming for, I mean, this is for more experienced players. New players, obviously, this doesn't really apply. It's still going to be a struggle and whatnot. But
Dude,
for
what the
people
fuck
who've
is right
played for a little
gameplay?
bit,
Damn.
it basically becomes you have to think of something in your head that you want to actually do and why you're doing it, whatever. In PoE 2, this will be less of the case because the boss encounters are going to be actually difficult. You can actually fail them without just getting 6 free retries, and then you pick the loot up even though you just died to this guy 6 times. And in
Don't
X,
deserve it.
you also won't be able to just
True,
face.
true. You're subhuman. You don't deserve it. Like, fuck off. Softcore, like that whole meme about 6 portal defense. Fucking L, bro. L mentality. Straight up. Straight up. You just shouldn't get anything. You should actually have to delete your character.
Roll the boss until you kill it
There it is.
over and over again. Like in PoE 1, you can just keep going, respawning at the door and keep hitting it. And then you go in and you hit it again and you just keep dying and whatever. Not a thing in PoE 2. That's, for long-term health of the game, that one not so much a big deal. But
That's cringe, bro. Does that feel satisfying to like run at a boss, do damage to it, die, run at a boss, do a bit more damage to it, die? Like, it's not satisfying. You all you successfully did was cheese the boss. You basically just cheat. And who did you really cheat? Yourself. That's the reality.
endgame stuff is a huge deal. Because think of it this way, right?
That's the reality.
In PoE 1, you can fight the hardest boss in the game for like 8 hours all day or something. Do 100 runs. And you can lose money. The only way you can actually lose is because it's just purely a gamble. Going into a boss in Act 1 is like pulling a lever on a slot machine. In softcore, anyways. It's not like this in hardcore. In hardcore, you get guaranteed profit. But in softcore, it's just a gamble, right? Because there's no actual barrier to entry other than the invitation. You don't have to have a good build.
Well, until she finds out the whole game is just gambling.
You don't have to have a specialized build. You don't have to have anything for these bosses. You just go in and you kill it. You get 6 tries. You can die if you want. There's no way you can fail. The only way you fail is if the game decides you don't get a good drop, which it probably does. That's why there's so many Reddit posts that people have done like 12 hours of Uber bosses and they end up losing money somehow. They didn't drop the good thing. No.
It means a larger data set. You need to kill more bosses. It's gonna the market sets a price, right? You need it. You clearly didn't do enough. You needed more boss kills. Well, dude, and do you know what? I've actually seen Mathel brick bosses before. It's definitely you can actually brick a boss. You can buy an Uber set, die to it, and use up all your portals.
I'm hoping in PoE 2 this is like kind of not a thing because you're gonna actually have to have a good build, and it is gonna be a little bit more restrictive. Less people are gonna be able to do the bosses, but what this could do is actually give bossing some value to it that'll make it more worth doing instead of just being essentially like gambling, right? So you actually have to go in, kill the boss on your first try. If you don't, you have to go find the boss again. And then this should increase the value of the items to make it worth doing.
Do you know what the example of this is in current PoE? So this exists in PoE, and it's Valdo's maps where if you die, your character bricks, or if you die, your character basically where it's like pseudo hardcore. Or you get one portal, right? They have Valdo's maps where you have one portal. But then what happens is she just get people with the most broken, overpowered builds with the most insane shit. Like, where they can just instantly evaporate the boss in a microsecond. They end up taking over. But overall, would I want like there to be more stakes in softcore or less stakes? Absolutely more stakes. I think it's more healthy for the game. But it is going to, the net result is people are going to go a little bit more degenerate with like their boss killing characters. And you're going to see some real stupid shit. I'd rather die 500 times than using a login macro a single time. Well, it's a bit sad and pathetic, isn't it? It's a bit sad and pathetic.
So yeah, I mean, it's not going to be for everybody, but I think for the health of the game, it's overall a very, very good thing. It's for this reason that I'm going to start softcore because it's kind of like a medium core experience almost. I mean, not really. You don't really lose anything except the map when you die, but I'm going to start softcore because this will make it more bearable for me to play. You actually have to have a good build, right? You can't just have a terrible build that you use 6 portal because it's like cheaper or just more efficient actually.
Who's going hardcore? Who's going hardcore? I mean, don't get me wrong. If your goal is to get as good at PoE 2 as possible, right? If your goal for early access is like get as good at the game as possible, then for sure Softcore's a better choice, 100%. Right? Like Handy P. Not me, fuck that. What's this dude? Don't even know. Why are you watching this? What? Okay, I'm going to ban this guy. But, like, I feel like in terms of how fun the game will be, it's just going to be a million times better just playing hardcore. Even though it's not, like, yeah, it's not the most efficient choice in terms of, like, you know, whatever, tryharding. I feel like it's, I don't know, the server, bro. True. Okay, let's see here. Go hardcore, and then the server's a complete dog shit, and your character dies to a server DC. That's going to suck massive dick. Okay, go hardcore, and the game's massively imbalanced, and you get one shot. That's going to suck massive dick. Yeah, game crashing, deaths. That's but then PoE 2's got a new system where your character logs out straight away, and it pauses the server and all that shit. I think when you stop receiving packets or whatever, it just instantly pauses. So then you're good.
And I'm assuming there's going to be server problems and a bunch of bugs. So I'm going to start softcore to actually learn the game. Then I'll swap to hardcore. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is go hardcore and then softcore. Because when you die, I think it actually just puts you in regular softcore. Because there's not going to be a league. So you'll just be in regular softcore after you die, right? It's not going to be like in PoE 1 where you go like the standard where nobody's playing. So I think that's what I'm going to do.
Well, that's smart.
And then
there you go.
Something else to think of is you're actually going to have to think about your maps, right? You cannot just run the hardest maps and go 6 portals and keep dying over and over. And this is where you actually win by losing. Like, dying in PoE 1 is not losing. It should be, but it's not. Dying in PoE 1 in softcore is actually optimal for like end game mapping, and that's kind of ridiculous.
Wait, what? Wait. So dying is optimal. Wait, if you're dying all the time, it's a waste of time. I think dying once if you die once a day, it's probably about optimal, right? Once a day, dude. There's gotta be, bro. Like once a day. If you're dying like 15 times a day, that's too much. Don't question. No, if you die like once a day. No, if you're dying like 200 times in one day, well, that's not optimal. If you're dying 3 times a map, that's not optimal. You want to be coming close to death for sure, but you don't want to be dying, bro. 1 in 10 of you. Yeah, like I feel like yeah, you want to be tuning your character so it almost dies, but never actually does die. I think that's the play. And then the occasional spike of damage, it kills you. The occasional really extreme circumstance of overlapping mechanics kills your character. It's what it is. Then you just, on softcore, I feel like that. You know. Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree. It's good. Stakes, bro. Stakes. No, she's totally right. Overall message is totally correct. More stakes in the game is overall better. It's more exciting as a gamer. And on top of that, it forces people to build better characters. Because when people don't have a penalty for death, you get to these extremes where you have like delving characters that have 1 HP, where they just do infinity damage, and they, it's this total gimmick where there's no real penalty for losing. So they just run around at 1 HP, one-shotting everything, and it's just terrible gameplay. You get forced into terrible gameplay. It was like that. The same exact thing happened in Diablo 3. There was no real huge penalty for dying, right? When you push GRs. So then what happened was you would push the GRs with no defense, and your character, if you got hit by a single attack, your character would just fall over dead, and you'd be running around at 1 HP, because that was the most optimal way to play the game, right? And it was unfun and not cool. Bad gameplay.
Makes no sense that you can go into a really good map with the best loot and you are kind of incentivized to die 6 times because no good builds would be able to do the map essentially, or you need a hyper specialized build to actually do that map. But instead of spending 1 million divines on a build that can actually do the map, you can just go on like some softcore blaster like lightning arrow and die 6 times and still get out with all the loot because you didn't die 6 times right at the start. You just die like once every minute or something. I don't think that's a very good gameplay loop. I know a lot of people disagree. They don't mind dying. Like they think of it as a soft sandbox game or whatever. But for me, I think it's much better for the health of the game.
I think overall her point's good. I don't necessarily agree with her in some of the specifics here, but I think overall, yeah. Now, what she's saying, I get what she's saying. Like, sexist comment? What the hell are you guys typing that's getting you timed out for sexist comment? I am not a fan of logouts. I am not a fan of instant logouts and instant logout gaming. I love attrition-based deaths. I love slow and painful deaths. Like, if you look at gaming, you look at my hardcore survival gaming that I really like to get into, I could log out in most of them, but I have a rule. I can't log out. And it means you can slowly die to lots of weak enemies chasing you down, or a poison dot, or you can die to like some stupid shit. Like, you can see it coming, you know it's coming, you're like, my death is inevitable, and you have to watch it happen, or you just survive at 1 HP. Now in PoE, the game is tuned around instant logouts, right? So then there's a million different one shots. So you're gonna die regardless, and everyone does instant logout, and anyone can do that. So then I do that. I would much prefer it though if you couldn't log out, and they had a pausing system, which sounded like what PoE 2 was going to be. But now I don't know if it is.